Hey everybody, Zack here at etrailer.com. Today we're taking a look at a RV utility porch light from Optronics. It's going to work out great for porch lights or entrance lights to campers like we have here today, but also on enclosed trailers as a utility light or even different parts around your camper or RV acting as a utility light, especially in those areas like a basement that don't have much lighting. It has a built-in switch, so it's going to work out great there, but like I said, you can also tie this into a porch light like we have here today and run a switch on the inside as well. We can easily turn this on and off on the exterior of our trailer, or if we have it tied into that light switch on the inside. I think that this light switch in the porch light configuration maybe isn't as useful. You could probably just get an option without the light switch, but if we had this lower, it would definitely come in handy being able to tie that in. Now, we have this as an incandescent setup here today, so if you're looking for an LED, there are LED options out there, but I think the incandescent, they maybe don't have as modern of a look. They're not going to last as long, but they're easy to replace. You can swap those bulbs out pretty quickly. I would recommend keeping one in the camper, so if it does burn out while you're on a trip, you can just swap that out. Now this is going to be a clear lens, so I think it's going to be a little bit brighter of the area that we're trying to light up compared to an amber lens. If you like the amber lens, that's also available. I think those do a really good job of lighting up the area if we're not looking for something as bright. Also, that kind of cuts down on the bugs. And then we have this black housing. So black maybe doesn't look as good on the white to some on this camper here today. So if you're looking to kind of match it up with the color of your camper or your trailer, white housing is also available. Now with this one, the owner of this camper is kind of testing out some different lights. They're trying to kind of upgrade the camper, make it look a little bit more modern. You can see we had an older rectangle style light on here, and it was kind of beat up, so we're swapping it out, seeing what we like best. We still need to clean this up a little bit, but I think this has a really good look to it. I think it fits the camper well. It's not too big for the area. This is actually kind of the same size as factory lights. So if you're looking to replace a light that maybe is damaged, that's been on your camper since you bought it, this is a really good option to get that swapped out. If you're looking to replace a light, you just want to get an idea how large this light is. It's going to measure at 6 1/4 inches by 3 7/16 of an inch, and it's going to stick off the camper about 1 7/8 inches. So not very large, but it is going to be a fairly significant size. But this is, like I said, going to be pretty similar to a lot of those factory lights that may be on your camper. So here you can see I took the lights down in the shop. I've got a little bit coming in, and I can turn this on and off with that light switch inside. I can still do the light switch there. So this is a pretty versatile light, and it's a lot brighter than I was thinking it would be for an incandescent light. It's not as really bright as some of those LEDs, but I think it does a good job of lighting up the area around the entrance to our camper, or if we had it down in a basement, it's definitely going to do a good job. So it's not really over the top, does just the right amount for me. And I kind of like the incandescent. I think the LEDs are definitely long-term maybe the better solution. So if you've got a bunch of incandescents on your camper, you're just replacing it, I think this is a really good way to go. But overall, it's not too difficult of an installation, so let's just walk through how we put this one in place. The first thing we need to do to get installed is we need to remove that old light. So I went ahead and took mine off. You can see I have a couple exposed wires here. Now I tested this out before I disconnected it, and I know that my black wire is power and my white is ground. So I've disconnected from my battery and any shore power that you might be hooked up to. So I'm going to get this stripped back. Get this prepped to get our other new light hooked up. And the light comes pre-stripped, so all we have to do is just get those off of there. We have those exposed wires to get connected to. So I'm going to take this apart, but what I need to do first is pop this lens cap off so I can gain access to those holes where our screws will go. So I'm just going to use a tiny flathead screwdriver to get that popped out. Just get that little clip Set this aside for now. You can see that's where we're going to gain access to those mounting holes. Now the first thing we will do with the connection on that is I'm going to grab a butt connector. I'm just using a standard butt connector today. You can use heat shrink if you'd like. But the standards are going to be just fine because we are putting this back in the wall of our camper. Get that crimped down. Make sure we have a good connection there. Do the same thing on our ground wire. Got a good connection there. So now we can grab our light and we can just match up those wires. So we've got a little bit too much from where they pre-stripped that for me, so I'm going to trim that just a little bit. Not a whole lot. But I don't want any wires outside of that butt connector, so I don't need them to be super long there on those exposed ones. Let's get these lined up and get that crimped down as well. I also like to give those exposed wires a little twist. That way they don't fray out when I'm sticking them in that connector. All right, we've got a good connection there. Now we can feed these back into the camper and we can begin getting this installed to the camper. You can see we've had a couple different lights on here. We've tested a few out on this one. But a lot of these are going to be very similar in the mounting location. So I wouldn't go as far as say it's an industry standard by any means, but they are all very, very close. So we may luck out and have the ability to use those existing holes. Now with this being offset like this, it's really nice that they have this little indentation here so our wires aren't getting smashed there. You can see this hole is in the center of our existing light. So I'm going to get that lined up, see if I can get those lined up with any of those holes. So just going to use that old hardware there, get that put in place, and then we can get our lens cap put on once we get this last one put in. You want to make sure that you're putting a little bit of sealant around that so that we don't have any water seeping in through the back side of that. It's a nice tight fit as is, but not a bad idea to put a little bit of sealant. So let's get hooked up to power and test it out. We can flip this switch here, and you can see we have light. So not a very difficult installation. Took me a couple minutes to get that put in place. I think that overall this is going to be a really good replacement for you, but with that switch on there, I think it's going to work out well across all areas of your camper if you're looking to add some lights to some other areas that have power running through there. But that's going to do it for a look at the Optronics Incandescent RV Porch Light.